Ladies and gentlemen, let's, with an emoji ovation on the chat session, let's make welcome none other than the Visual King himself, Ambassador Nefo Esimai, as he takes us on why we must not miss the immersion, with emphasis on why we must become Kingsmen. Ambassador Nefo Esimai, the stage is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Democracy Day. I want to celebrate each and every one of you, and I hope that you're in good spirit. I want to celebrate all the GA leaders. I want to celebrate Ambassador Michael Okoli, who has made himself available to God to be used in such a time as this. Now, in just less than 10 minutes, I'm going to show you why you have to become a Kingsman. It is very important you understand this, because that is the beginning of a journey towards becoming a millionaire in this business. 2016, I borrowed money, I started this business, but I had this person I saw. He started this business in 2013. I started in 2016, right? I borrowed money, I started. My story is very, very kind of a roller coaster story of financial woes. So I made up my mind to start this business in 2016. I borrowed money to start it. But then I met this guy. This guy was really doing well. He was making money, was part of the top 10, I believe. Top 10, top 20, no, top 20, sorry. And he was one of the motivations I saw. But something happened. In 2021, he stopped making money from this business. And last couple of weeks, I think 2 weeks before now, I heard he has jackpot from the country. And the question is, why did he jackpot? In fact, first of all, why did he stop making money? So I'm going to show you what happened to him. It happened to me in my first year. This was what happened to him after several years. And this is exactly what happened to him. And if you understand this, your way to wealth will be secure. Listen to this. Watch this. I hope you can see my screen. Hold on a second. I hope you can see my screen. I hope you can hear me. Now, I started with 7 portfolios, or I borrowed money and started with 7 portfolios. That's the highest at the time. And I began to work. I had my first experience of Immersion that helped us to understand why we must move very fast in the business. And I moved very fast, and I sponsored 8 people in the space of 3 months. It was ridiculous. I was just moving fast. And within that space, I hit 1.13 million. And of course, one of my legs, the leg A, started producing leaders, that leg. But then what normally happens in this business is that attrition happens. Attrition means that people that started, all of a sudden, they stop doing the business. They don't tell you that they're going to stop doing the business, but they just stop doing the business. B stopped doing the business. C, D. My line E also stopped over that space of 3 months, all right? I mean, after the third month, people stopped. They started quitting because there was something lacking in understanding. F didn't stop, but then G and H slowed down very drastically. That they weren't producing results. The only functional legs I had at the time was A and F. Ladies and gentlemen, F was one of my pain legs, but she was pregnant at the time. And the problem was, I felt she was a leader. I abandoned her because she was a self-starter. She was doing the work without anybody forcing her. And that is what some of us also have in our business. And I'm sure part of it happened to this, my friend I spoke about, that had jackpot, right? I abandoned her. And of course, we didn't have any structure. And once she gave birth to triplets, boom, her business stopped. She didn't tell me. Her husband told her, stop doing this business. And she didn't tell. This was a high-profile partner that I had. She had very high-profile people she brought into the business. The minimum person that came into her business was 3 accounts. She was doing 3 accounts, 7 accounts, 3 accounts, 7 accounts. When she stopped, all the people that came through her stopped the business because she didn't tell me. They stopped seeing her on meetings and they stopped. So that leg crippled. I now had only 1 leg. 6 months later, I had only 1 functional leg, my elephantiasis leg, and my income dropped. Depression almost set in. Is this how I'm going to build my wealth? But something happened. I persisted, but nothing was happening. I continued to sign up people, but they will come, nobody's serious because there was no direction. And yet I wasn't immersed until I struggled. Then some of the leaders, we qualified and went to Philippines. That was the beginning of a change. At the Philippines, we were subjected to AIM Global Academy. It was ridiculous. First of all, we had an experience of everybody was part of the academy. Then after that one, 3 days later, 3 days later, we now had an experience. But let me show you the atmosphere there in the Philippines. That was the AIM Academy. Let me show you.
2 million! 3 million! And ladies and gentlemen, a big hand of applause for our very own Mr. Arnel Limpi!
Do you want to become multi-millionaire? Do you want to become successful? Say, I want to become successful. Ask the person beside you, do you want to become successful?
Do you want to become successful?
Then listen to successful people. Take your seat now. Take your seat now.
This event was super powerful. It was super powerful. But then, after 3 days later, a few leaders were selected to now meet with Dr. Ed Carrington, CEO of AIM Global, for a proper immersion. And that in that meeting, all I was hearing was numbers and influence. It was kept on talking about leadership. He said, if you want to break through in network marketing, you have to become a leader of influence and you must work your numbers. Listen to him just in a couple of.
Okay, now here, listen up. As what I've mentioned to a few key leaders here, this is the requirement for the Philippine trip. Okay? So if you are a leader in a span of a year, everybody say 1 year. 1 year. You know that you can accumulate 185 GCs. Am I right? Yes. In a span of a year. Yes. Or probably even more than that. Am I right? Yes. Or if you're a great leader, probably double, triple, quadruple this number. Am I right? Yes. So the goal is not only prepare for the Philippine trip with 185 travel GCs, the goal is in the near future, in the nearest future, there'll be South Africa trip. There'll be Dubai trip. Okay, does this country excite you? Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the beginning of it because that was an immersion. And do you know what? AIM Global couldn't afford to take us on trips because of COVID-19, but because we were immersed, we began to take people on trips. Now, listen. We structured that training to suit us in Nigeria, and we stabilized it based on that we did, and we started taking people on trips. That is how powerful that immersion is, and it's about to happen to each and every one of you. And what do you need? You need to become a Kingsman, because it is not for everybody, it's only for leaders. And what I will tell you is this: become a Kingsman by connecting 5 active partners. And if you become a Kingsman, I would suggest one little thing. Also raise 5 Kingsmen. Let your active partners become minimum. You could do more. Let them become Kingsmen. Do you know what will happen to you? The alteration that happened to me will never happen to you. Why? Because Kingsmen are solid. They want to build a business to last. And even if one Kingsman decides to travel for whatever reason or stops doing the business, you still have 4, and you can even build more. Remember what he said, Dr. Ed said that in 1 year you can become a leader. Do you know, because of the solidified immersion we had and the ridiculous research we did, driven by Ambassador Michael Coley, becoming a leader, you cannot do it in 3 months. People are becoming leaders in 3 months. And how you start that is by becoming a Kingsman. That begins your journey towards Kingsman. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever happens, go to the comment section and say, I must be a Kingsman in 1 month, and it is doable. And if you now want to be part of those who will become wealthy in 2 years, not in 5 years, then raise 5 Kingsmen before the immersion. Write on the comment section how many Kingsmen you're going to raise before the immersion. Come on now, write it. And this was what happened to my friend. He quit. He stopped making money because he did not implement. He was there in this meeting that we had with Dr. He was there. But the problem was there was no team to consolidate, no structure to consolidate what he heard. But in our team, we had a structure. And that is what we're going to divulge at the immersion. Ladies and gentlemen, take us to the next level and to show us exactly how to raise active partners. I'm going to call back for one and only Ambassador, the phenom, Dr. Mba. Over to you, Elijah Mba.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Ambassador Nefo. And